I just heard our president speak when he was in Illyria, or I'm not sure I'm saying the name of the town right, Ohio, on April 18th, when he tried to make the argument that his plan is not one of redistribution, not taking to the poor and giving to the rich, but it's about, as he put it, an investment together. Together. So he keeps calling for things like the Buffett rule and more taxes on the rich. But we're making this investment together. Could somebody explain to the president what together means? Because, I mean, I hear varying statistics on just how much taxes the rich pay. But it's obvious that they're paying the most. Now, I know that the rich have tricks. I have to preface, really, I should have prefaced by saying I am far from rich, okay? I am what you would call, I guess, lower middle class, okay? My wife works 3 part-time jobs, not because that's our choice, because that's what we need. Okay, she's at work right now. I'm going to work shortly. I work an overnight job, the 3rd shift, because it works, believe it or not, with our schedules, and working the overnight makes more money. But my point in this is just to say that you're looking at a guy who has, if anything, all the reason, the usual reasons, to be jealous of the rich and to covet the rich. And yet I don't. I have no jealousy of the rich. I don't even want to be rich. But I don't see the rich as the villain. I don't see the rich as the man who's oppressing me and keeping me under his thumb. You know something? The guy who signs my paycheck is pretty rich. He gives me a job. I fully recognize that the man who pays me is rich. And I don't even get 40 hours a week because the company's trying to save money. If he is taxed more, I suspect that my hours might be cut more. This is called common sense. This is called living in reality. Reality says that if you tax the rich more, then chances are good that they're not going to go sell one of their nice cars. They're not going to downsize their house. They're going to cut in ways that affect people they pay. Now, I realize not every rich person employs somebody. Most do. Most rich people, really rich, are rich because they have people working beneath them. Okay, I'm talking working for them, not beneath them. Don't parse my words. If we're taxing the rich, if we're so concerned about the rich paying their quote-unquote fair share, the first question that comes to mind is the government fair? Is the government responsible? Do you trust the government? Because this notion that the rich need to pay their fair share has to be predicated on, do you trust the government to take more money from these so-called rich people and spend it the way it should be spent? And if you do, then you are either 100% blind or are living in a fantasy land of delusion. Okay? This government has done nothing to prove, nothing to merit our trust. Why then do we trust a president who points to a villain, who gives you some... You know why he does this? He does this because he's playing on your jealousy. And some of you have been foolish enough to swallow this nonsense. And I feel very sorry for you that you've bought it. You are what people like the president call useful idiots. And you can come at me all you want about how I'm brainwashed by Fox News. No, Fox News didn't tell me this. Okay? My eyes are wide open. I have various sources from which I glean the news. Now, this is something that, yes, Fox News more or less says, not quite like I say it. But, yeah, I realize that this is a message that Fox News would probably applaud. But that doesn't mean I'm some kind of puppet of Fox News. And it's a ridiculous suggestion to think that, to say that anybody who says anything which Fox News wouldn't disagree with is from Fox News. That is asinine. I'm an intelligent man who makes his own decisions, has his own mind, his own intellect, and doesn't trust anyone without corroborating what is said. I don't just listen to Fox News and parrot what they say. There are often times when I disagree with views expressed on Fox News. I'm not going to get into all that right now, but if you want to question me on it, I will get into it with you. But I see anyone who makes that accusation as someone who doesn't think for themselves. Because if if it's in your mind, if that is in your mind, then that is coming from you. So you are projecting your motives onto me. Because if you see brainwashing and puppeteering in me, it's because it's in you. It's because you are being puppeteered by someone yourself. And so you assume that everyone else is just like you, but if they have opposite ideology, they're just being brainwashed and puppeteered by someone else. I'm a secure person who makes his own decisions based on one thing: truth. That's what I care about. The truth. I just want to know the truth. Yes, I'm conservative. I have conservative values. That doesn't mean that I fit a mold. Knock it off with that. I can give you plenty of examples where I don't fit your mold. That's in your head, and you are projecting it onto me. And it's not fair, and we will never get anywhere in this country as long as people continue to do that. Think for yourself. And unfortunately, I hear that phrase, think for yourself, and the people who say it the most aren't doing it clearly. Because for you to buy into this notion that the rich people should be punished and that'll fix everything. All we have to do to get rid of $16 trillion of debt is to take more money, to let the government squander more tax money. That is not going to fix the problems, kids. That's not going to do it. If you took all the money from the rich, it is not, which you couldn't do. But if you tax them 50%, you're not going to get rid of $16 trillion worth of debt. How could anyone with a brain who woke up this morning and dressed himself continue on in this asinine argument that you are going to tax the rich and rid the country's problems. How could you continue in this argument? How could you be so blind? Wake up, America. Don't buy into the communist, the socialist argument. Knock it off. Wake up. It's not going to fix this country or the world's problems. It's not going to happen. First of all, you're not going to get to tax the rich as much as you want to do. That won't happen. And if it does, all that's going to happen is misery across the board. You won't be distributing the wealth. You'll be distributing misery. You'll be distributing mediocrity. Nobody will have anything to work towards anymore. If the government just takes everything away from the rich won't want to be rich. There'll be nothing left to work towards. In America, we have a capitalist system so that the people who want to, the people with the gumption, can work towards financial success. Without that, you have mediocrity. Without competition, there's no greatness because nobody has a reason to be great. But you smug liberals, I'm angry right now. Yeah, I'm yelling. You liberals, in all of your blindness, you continue on. You just beat the drum of tax the rich, tax the rich. Tell me what will happen if you tax the rich 70%. Every millionaire and billionaire in America. What will be the outcome? Just look at what's going on in the news right now. Well, look at the GSA, for crying out loud. Oh, that's going to cease, right? As soon as we tax the rich, the government will start being responsible? Really? I mean, come on. Somebody out there right now, everybody out there right now, knows what I'm saying makes sense. You know I'm telling the truth. You might continue on in your deception because you have an evil agenda. But some of you are just being deceived by those people. It's time for you to knock it off. Think. Think about, wave the smelling salts under your nose. Think about what I'm saying. Why would you think that a government who has so egregiously misspent your money will start spending it wisely and on what it should if rich people are taxed more? Look, rich people are not your villain. If you're miserable, if you're having a hard time like I am, taxing the rich is not the answer, okay? That's not going to solve your problem. And I know it makes you feel good to some of you to point at the rich and say, oh, he needs to. Look, don't let the government's playing you. The government doesn't care about you. Barack Obama does not care about you. He has an agenda. He wants to fundamentally transform America and turn our system over to socialism. It's not the cure. Wake up. Don't be fooled. Please. This next election is too important. If we allow socialism, we are ushering in a monster that you don't want to wake up next to.